We'll run a little experiment up top here and say, if you like the show, please like and subscribe.
Yeah.
Apparently it matters. Apparently it helps. Or it doesn't.
Promote it right off the bat.
Yeah.
Try to get people to subscribe.
Yeah. How's the PBS thing go? This show is supported by viewers like you.
Viewers like you. Yeah, there used to be some whole spiel that would play out with that. PBS. Do they have that in Canada too?
Yeah, I guess so. I wonder if it was a northeastern seaboard thing.
It was the exact same channel, public broadcasting.
I feel like we had a lot of like American channels rebroadcasted with Canadian ads or something.
Oh, they just like dubbed in the ads or whatever.
Yeah. And we had a few channels that came through from America, like Spike TV or something, with the American ads. Yeah, and the culture shock was pretty wild.
What was outstanding about it?
American ads are just like more aggressive.
More like they're more intense or whatever.
Yeah.
I can't remember watching any Canadian TV when I was like there. I mean, I try to remember most of the times I was there, I was just like driving around or walking around. Like I wasn't really like in a situation where I would be like watching TV or anything.
Trying to think like what would even get out. Like Degrassi was big.
Yeah, but
Red Green Show.
Well, yeah, but I wasn't watching. I guess like I wasn't watching like. I mean, I saw some things like that, but I wasn't watching like commercials really. I mean, it was just like whatever it shows would make it over. But I wasn't really like, I don't know if they're advertising like, I don't know, Tim Hortons or something. Like I never really saw. I guess I just don't have familiarity with like what would be Canadian commercials, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, neither do I at this point.
Yeah.
People still watching cable?
I have no idea, man. Yeah, I haven't really
just boomers.
I probably just boomers, right?
Your parents have cable?
I think so, yeah. They watch them. They just watch a lot of like old, I don't know, mysteries and like they're definitely still in like DVD mode, I guess, or
like watching DVDs.
Yeah,
going through their collection,
or just like renting them, or like what. I don't even really know, but yeah, they're still kind of on that. I mean, they do watch like YouTube and stuff, but it's in a very like whatever comes up way. Like they didn't even really know how to use the search function.
Right.
They would just see whatever was on the front page and think that was like what was there. I'm like, you can search for things, right? Like they're like, okay, really? Like
easy pickings for the algorithm
or whatever.
They're just completely blasted by whatever YouTube puts on.
Random content would come up. Yeah. But
my Instagram algorithm has been hitting me with some interesting sequences.
What is it coming out with?
Well, I sent you the one, right? The weird like pink head thing in the fridge doing the
there's I get a lot of like really like grotesque like AI kind of stuff.
Right. I got like a few of those.
It's like comically trying to be like disgusting or whatever.
Right.
I'm just like, okay, like I guess I mean it's just like attention getting strategy of like create something that's like completely hideous just to like get people to.
Well, what was the one you sent, which was like the people made out of cheese? It was like the pizza people.
Nah, there's way worse. There's like way worse ones. Yeah, there's like way, like I don't know, body horror kind of stuff. It's just like randomly
like borderline unpublishable, like bannable content.
Yeah, like borderline. Okay. Well, I mean, just stuff that you're gonna like look at and basically feel bad, I guess. Like you just like, okay, this is like kind of. I mean, like the pizza thing is like kind of funny at least,
right?
But like there's things that are just like really. I don't know, yeah, kind of like 1980s, like, I don't know, horror kind of nightmare kind of.
Like possibly a snuff film or something.
I mean, it's too ridiculous to even be that, but it's just like, grotesque imagery and, I don't know, like worms and rats and, things in toilets, like just kind of real feel bad kind of imagery, which, again, you're just, I mean, I guess if you're just trying to get people to react and, I don't know, look at it, then it kind of works, I guess. And it's kind of like whatever. If you're trying to get hits or something, then just do it by any means necessary.
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah.
It Reminds me of I think we were looking at the bad vibes page on Psychonaut Wiki.
Oh yeah. Although that seemed like so tame. Like that was like so. Well, so did the good vibes page. Like they both just seemed like
pretty middle of the road, or
they just both seemed like really cliched things that people would think of when they weren't tripping.
Right.
Like it doesn't seem like anything that would really either make you feel particularly good or particularly bad if you're like really, I don't know, frying or something. Like it just, I mean, I don't know. It's hard to.
It's a shame that you can't like save your like seed of the algorithm. Like,
okay, yeah.
There's no way to like transfer an algorithm to someone else.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Yeah, I think we're just gonna see more of that as it goes, because it's just like anything's gonna be, you know, immediately eye catching or attention getting. I feel like there's a bit of an arms race in that with the algorithm, where it's just like things don't even have to make sense or be coherent.
Right.
Like I'm seeing a lot of videos that, again, some of them I send to you that are just like barely like sustained coherent. I mean, they're just random like images or snippets of things, and you're like, what is like what like
it's a bit of a race to the bottom.
I feel like some of it's interesting, but there's definitely, I do see a lot of stuff is just like calculated to be obviously like grotesque or offensive or something,
like rage bait.
Yeah, right? Or just it's just like, you know, cliched, you know, disgusting imagery or like things just kind of like feel bad content that's like not particularly, I don't know, original or sophisticated or something. It's just like kind of
just literally gets hits,
just
and
gets
rewatches,
hits
right?
and rewatches, I guess.
Yeah.
By
do you think it's possible to escape this kind of paradigm? Because it looks like we're just kind of making ourselves stupider at an increasingly
I guess
fast
we like
rate.
super curate it. I mean, I think anyone that's like spending huge amounts of time just scrolling the
thing is,
feed is pretty.
It resets itself, right?
Yeah.
Like, so you can curate it all day, and then Monday morning, algorithm.
That's what update. I mean, right? So I think like if you're in the headspace of just like randomly scrolling on, I don't know, the explore feature or whatever, like you're probably gonna get. I mean, I think at a certain point, like it doesn't even really matter what's on there. I mean, you know, it could be like, it could be kitten videos, or it could be, I don't know, rage bait AI kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, it's just kind of like, why are you spending time scrolling that anyway? I mean, it doesn't really, I don't feel like the content really matters maybe that much. I mean, it's just, there's going to be something there no matter what, but there's probably better things you could like be paying attention to, I guess. So
do you find yourself getting it sucked into it as much as anyone else? Or
not really, man. No? I mean, I'm mostly either reading things or working on like posts or something. I mean, I look at it a little bit, but I mean, it's mostly, I get bored pretty quickly. I'm just like, yeah, it's just the same. Like I can tell what it's going to throw up reasonably well. So I'm not like super interested, I guess, most of the time, or
can see through the
algorithm or whatever.
I find I often like open up the app to like message someone and like immediately forget who I was trying to message.
Okay,
and then you know,
you just get sucked into
15 minutes later, you're like, damn it, they did it. They got me again.
Scrolling through stuff. Yeah. Most of it's just, I feel like it's kind of, I just feel like social media, a lot of these things are kind of dying, and I do kind of wonder if there isn't like a kind of attention threshold at which things are not as, I don't know, maybe compelling as they were initially.
Do you mean like dopamine exhaustion?
Yeah, I feel like it's sort of, I feel like that's maybe one of the possible outcomes, is that like, I guess like in the arms race of, you know, race to the bottom, it's sort of like, I don't know if you'd call it a dopamine system or, you know, just attention or whatever, but like, I feel like after a while, like you kind of just get used to everything, right?
Yeah.
And then like, if you're finally just like, okay, like literally nothing about this is that interesting. And like something that maybe takes more effort is just like naturally more, is gonna be more interesting. Like, you know, like reading a book or like watching a real movie or something, or like.
So people goon so hard on their algorithm that eventually they get bored of it and pick up, you know, Nietzsche's, another name I'll never get right on.
Which one?
Nietzsche.
Yeah, well, something like that. I mean, I feel like it's usually the case for me where I'm just like, okay, like I can get interested in like content for like, I don't know, 10 minutes or something, but I'm definitely not going to spend like, I don't know, an hour scrolling Instagram or something, because it's just not. I get bored of it quite rapidly, I guess.
It's good.
There's not really much that.
The faster you can like sort of pattern interrupt your something grabbing your attention.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out what you're looking at. Your reflection in the
checking over
glass.
The thing there too, the poster. I feel like I didn't see that border there before. See how it has that like weird little like glyphed out border? Well,
so it's the tapestry under that one, right?
Yeah.
You know, I have a few in the rotation here, right?
Yeah, that's why I think it's because it was like sort of overlapping. I was like, is that the same one as usual?
I think it might be time to pull this one out. It's been more of a summertime one.
Do you just like rotate them seasonally, or is it just more
mood? I guess I get tired of looking.
Get sick of one of them.
Yeah.
I feel like the other one's probably more of a summer one.
Yeah. Probably the most colorful thing I own, come to think of it.
It's not much, everything else is pretty, kind of
pretty
darker, muted tones, I guess.
Yeah. I from the same company. This is all from Threda, right? And I had a few like sublimation tees from them. I still have one, but I sold all the other ones because I just realized I'm never gonna wear like an orange, like psychedelic art sublimation.
But you had something like that?
Yeah.
You just didn't feel like, well, why not? Like, why wouldn't you wear that?
It wasn't the design I picked out, to be honest. It was kind of one of these mystery purchases where they like, you know, it's 50% off and they send
like a discount with other stuff or something.
So like I didn't really vibe with the design to begin with. And then like orange definitely was not very high on my list of colors. Yeah.
I do that sometimes though, like even in real life, like I buy things and I'm like, while I'm buying it, I'm like, this seems like something I'm gonna wear. And then like as soon as I actually start wearing it, I'm like, actually like this doesn't really work, or like for whatever reason, like it just doesn't quite fit right, or like doesn't, I don't know, it just doesn't seem to, I don't hang right, or colors are not what I originally thought or something.
Right.
So I end up with things I'm like, it's not, I'm probably not actually gonna wear this as much as I like thought I would when I bought it. It's kind of like weird impulse purchases or something. I mean, it's never anything I would like regret buying, I guess, but it's a lot of time I'm like, it's not what I thought, or don't actually vibe with this or something, right?
I wonder, like, is that impulsive, or did the environment like cue you into making that purchase, right? Is it one of these like yellow painted walls at McDonald's type thing prompts you to like buy more and leave quicker or something?
I don't know, it's just I think it's also just limited options, like unless you really go to, I don't know, Harajuku or something, or like some places where there's more obvious like options for clothes. Like a lot of stuff tends to be pretty, I don't know, like Ikebukuro is not super. I don't feel it's as good as it used to. Like I feel like Parco used to have more options, like more interesting stores.
Like Parco Annex.
The one sort of down there.
Yeah.
I feel like recently it's gotten way more just like the usual international kind of generic stuff. You got to go to like Harajuku or somewhere to like really find more interesting things.
I'm just surprised how boring some of these streetwear designs are.
Oh, they're crazily boring, man. So, I'm just like, what? I'm constantly like, what are they?
I like when I was in Taipei, I went to their like Harajuku area and was trying to find some cool, Taiwanese streetwear and just see, what's around. And you go to their like top streetwear street, and they're selling like neighborhood. Which like I literally just left the place where it's from, and the designs are boring as fuck. It just has neighborhood and some other like little graffiti thing. Like it's a plain you know, plain long sleeve t-shirt that costs like $120. Like, cool, nice, like streetwear.
I think you gotta order. I feel like ordering stuff online, like almost everything interesting, you probably just have to order it online or like go straight to. I mean, again, there's a few places. Like I think if you go to Harajuku, there's still enough kind of interesting, also like secondhand stuff you can find. But I mean, there's an okay secondhand place in Parco Annex here too. But still, like just the normal stores are like pretty generic.
Yeah,
or they're like prohibitively. I mean, if it's something like hysteric glamour, then it's like just the sizes are prohibitive for me.
They're too small.
They're just too small, man. They're just not
like they're meant for teenage Japanese girls or
guys or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just way too small. I mean, you can't really realistically wear them. At least not in a way that like fits, I guess. Certainly tried, but not really designed for anyone else, I guess. So that's another issue. So I mean, it's hard to really find things around here. I think most of the interesting brands are just I gotta online order it or
Well, what's the story behind this Paris embroidered tee you have on here?
My old man friend just gave it to me today.
Oh, nice.
It's like a souvenir because he just went to France and
sweet.
Was touring around Europe for a few weeks.
Oh, nice.
So I hadn't seen him for more than a month, I would say.
Paris in the springtime is popular. Had one or two friends there as well.
Right. Yeah.
Did you spend much time there?
Have I?
Yeah. In Paris.
When I was younger, but I wasn't really. I never really lived there. I just visited and.
Were you an adult and independently moving around?
Nah, I was younger. I was like a teenager.
Yeah.
But definitely enjoyed it. Seemed like it'd be a cool place. I mean, again, this was 20 years ago or something.
Yeah. So.
But I'd be down to go back there, I guess. I feel like it's. I know a bunch of people living there, so seems like it'd still be an interesting place.
Yeah. Seeing some of the Insta stories of people chilling by what is it, the Seine?
The Seine,
and I know tables on the street and whatnot. The culture is quite charming, right?
Yeah.
You don't really see anything like that happen.
There's some
here.
good food and stuff too, right?
Yeah,
and public
some bread, some nice bread.
Right? Public transport, like the metro, is pretty reliable, I guess.
Reliable, yeah.
It's not like some of these things. Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder.
That's why never. I would probably pick Paris over. I don't know, London or something. Just never I've never really felt the pull of London. Just what really get what the attraction would be. I think we've talked about this a few times before, but. Will was kind of talking about that when he was on here too.
Right.
It just doesn't. I don't know. Just there's nothing in particular that I feel would pull me to want to live there. I guess even I mean visiting maybe okay, but
it
doesn't seem like anywhere I would really want to live. I guess.
Yeah, I mean. I'm trying to think of what's even its biggest claim to importance, right?
Yeah.
It all seems pretty historic.
There's fashion music. I mean, there's the historic.
But then Will was talking about how fashion it's now defunct basically.
Yeah, well that's what I feel like it's
Brexit.
Same with New York is not really. So many stupid things, man. They just opened this quasi-futurist art gallery in New York. And it's just this super cringe kind of. I don't know. It's just unbelievably cringe and not anything that you would ever. I think someone was reviewing it and they're it's barely high school talent show level stuff or something. I just feel nothing in New York would make me want to be there. And as Will was saying with London, I feel it's kind of the same, maybe there too. Someone else was posting. Like, yeah, there's someone I quite respect was posting on Substack, and I think he is from London. He was posting something very similar. He's just like, where, like, what is, nothing is happening in London. It's like interesting,
right?
And like it's not really. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's my impression, but yeah, maybe Paris, I think, would be more that would be compelling, or more that would be interesting.
Yeah. I'd need to go back. I haven't really been there as an adult ever, so don't have too much independent impressions. But
have you been there for long, or
no? Basically,
just also visiting.
Yeah, last time was like senior high school age.
Or just in high school.
Yeah, spent a few days there or something, just kind of on a trip. So didn't really have too much control over the agenda. Nor was I really like aware of what was going on.
Much of what was happening. Yeah, just kind of going along for the ride.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, I had a friend who was living there during COVID. Potential segue. And he said it got pretty bad there.
In Paris,
yeah, like checkpoints on blocks where you like couldn't leave your little bubble area, your little.
Oh, okay. So they're like really, like legally quarantined or whatever. Okay, that's annoying.
Yeah. And that was basically when he tapped out of France and was like, it's not like,
it's not like workable.
Yeah,
not workable.
But then I believe him and his wife like purchased. I don't know if they purchased, but I think they have a place there. So they'll be visiting, but I guess they didn't think too highly of the culture ultimately. I suppose
that's what I've heard. I mean, like I've heard really mixed things where they're like it's way too. I have heard people say it's like way too managerial, or like not as.
Yeah, well, yeah. I have a history with the French and management, so it's just funny that you picked that word.
Well, no, but that's what like that's, I mean, sort of what you just said with the COVID.
Yeah,
like it's that I've certainly heard it's like described as I think the term was a sinister bureaucratic culture or something. Which you could certainly believe. I mean, if you're living and working there, then you probably have to deal with that more upfront. But I'd still visit. I mean, if you're just visiting or something, then you probably don't have to deal with that. But
it's kind of a game of like musical chairs of like what culture will you be in when the music stops? And like, is it the right culture? Yeah. I mean, we can talk a bit about Japan, but one thing I wanted to say was my friend's critique of France or Paris was like, they think that they're like the country or like the economy, but they're not.
Yeah, definitely
like,
not.
They have the attitudes like the world revolves around them.
Okay,
but it doesn't. Right,
it definitely doesn't.
So kind of maps over to my mental conception of the French attitudes. So, but I don't know. Nothing against France or its people, but just kind of outsider view on the culture that I heard.
There's this man. Always show me this like a French video game. Expedition 33 or something. It was quite impressive. Because I was just trying to think of other interesting things I've seen coming out of France recently, and in terms of writing and music kind of stuff, I mean, certainly not much that would grab my attention. But this game. I describe it as like it's like a French Final Fantasy, but it's like set in clearly like a French derived world. Like it's not trying to be like I don't know, anime kind of aesthetics or anything. Like it's clearly based on kind of like French style and history and.
Expedition 33, you said?
I think it's called, Expedition something.
33, I believe. This is a pretty recent one.
Pretty recent, right? And, he was just showing me the intro, I don't know, first half hour or whatever. And it was quite impressive. I mean, it was more impressive than recent Final Fantasies, which are, honestly pretty cliche and kind of, I don't know, campy or, just what you like, nothing you wouldn't be expecting.
Just smelling their own farts.
Yeah, just completely disappearing up the, I don't know, up their own history, I guess. But yeah, so this French game was quite graphically, it was quite incredible, really. Like better than Japanese recent games I've seen. And seemed like a lot of thought and time and effort had gone into it. So I was like, wow, yeah, it's not something I would have expected. And it seems like it has been kind of a, I don't know, sleeper sleep. I don't know if you'd call it a sleeper hit, but like just unexpected hit or something where people are like, oh, what? This is like actually like dope. And, you know, we kind of weren't expecting it. Like no one was really, I guess no one really saw it coming. Like it just kind of came out of nowhere and blew up, at least from what I can tell. Which, yeah, again, is interesting because, yeah, like French video, I mean, it's not something I would ever have been expecting. Cutting edge French video games. I mean, it's not something you would expect, I guess. But yeah. So yeah, I mean, that's the last maybe interesting thing I saw. But other stuff, I mean, there's nothing nothing has really caught my interest terribly recently, I guess. Otherwise, you know, yeah.
The only other French video game thing that comes to mind is Ubisoft, but I think they're based out of Montreal rather than France.
Oh, they're actually Canadian?
I believe so, yeah. Let's see if I can pull it up here. Headquarters. Yeah, okay. Saint-Mandé, France. Yeah, so they are French. But yeah, they've been I think it's been a bit of a train wreck for them lately.
Okay.
Where I think their games have been pretty big busts for a while, and aside from like the Assassin's Creed franchise.
Oh right, yeah.
Like everything else I think has been not doing too well.
Assassin's Creed. Have you played any of those or?
Yeah, I played them. But again, it's another one of these games where like once you play the first one, it feels like all the mechanics are just endlessly recycled.
Yeah.
And it becomes kind of the same kind of play pattern or
right, yeah.
Like just do the same thing over and over, but this time it's colonial America. This time it's like
it seemed kind of
pirate theme.
It seemed kind of cheesy from what I've seen. I mean, like I guess they're, you know, kind of deep diving history or whatever, but definitely seemed kind of, I don't know, cheesy or something. Like it's not something I would be interested in like actually sitting down and playing, I guess. I mean, there's very few things I would. I mean, again, I probably wouldn't actually sit down and play
most
like
things.
Even Expedition. I mean, I'm sure it is like it seems really legit and good, but definitely wouldn't spend like, I don't know, 30 hours playing a game or something.
Right.
Kind of a waste of time, I would say. But yeah, I mean, just like these things that are Assassin's Creed or something, it just seems kind of cheesy or not really not that interesting.
I mean, it was cool in like 2009 or whatever when the first one came out.
Yeah,
but
probably just turning the crank.
Yeah, becomes so formulaic.
Cranking it out. Yeah,
but I mean, if
we kind of talked about this, I think we talk about this in our previous episode where we were saying like the pace of innovation in games, like the first, I don't know, like 1985 to 1995 is. Like
just worlds
insane
apart.
Pace of like, you know, literally going from, I don't know, like Super Mario to, you know, PlayStation kind of 3D kind of like, it's just like what, like everything that happened in that period is insane in terms of just constantly new hardware, new genres, like things were just coming out of nowhere. And I don't know, everything since then, I mean, it's just more like a refinement, I guess. I mean, it's not that...
Yeah, I feel like we're waiting for like Neuralink or something.
Yeah,
like I don't think
there's going to be much. I mean, even when Manuel was showing me these new recent Final Fantasies, I was like, yeah, I mean, it's incredible. Like the graphics are certainly incredible hardware. I mean, everything is just insanely detailed. And, but in terms of like actual, I don't know, ideas or what you're actually playing, I mean, it's pretty, could have come out, I don't know, 20 2025, 2015,
right,
2005,
right.
Like I don't really know what. Doesn't seem like anything that is like off the map too much, I guess. I mean,
yeah,
I don't really know what to say. But.
And like kind of riffing off that, Nick had a pretty comprehensive emulator set up with like 4K upscaling.
Oh yeah,
where older games with worse graphics would get, I don't know, AI upscaled.
Okay, yeah.
To like 4K, kind of very flattering graphics. Again, just like makes the release date kind of irrelevant.
We were over at his place, and we were playing some things that was that like really cracked out like dance sim thing we were playing. It was like
the Japanese one with like
I can't remember what it was called. Like I think it was something
like game show or something.
Yeah, I think it was something that had like not been ported over.
It was like Mario Party mechanics, but with like big titted Japanese.
It was very strange. I do vaguely remember seeing something in a magazine like when I think it was like from the early 2000s or something.
It was pretty cracked out.
It was very cracked out.
That is the right adjective.
Yeah, it's very cracked out. I mean, there's a lot of strange stuff that was never really like ported over. Even going back in the day, I mean, there's like these like weird fishing games and just like, I don't know, Japan-centric culture. Yeah, I guess like culture-specific video games that like Americans just like wouldn't have known how to process, I guess. Like what, it's like based on, I don't know, like Japanese chess or something, like shogi or something, or like other,
I have no idea,
like fishing or I don't know, forms of gambling here. It's like, okay, like you put it in front of an American kid, they're like, what? I don't even,
right.
Was like, it's obviously not gonna, sell that well, even if you ported it over. So there, I mean, there's, just things that are based on obscure, I don't know, franchises or anime or something that like just people wouldn't have been like familiar with.
Right.
So I think that it definitely fell in that sort of I don't know, range. But yeah, I mean, functionally it's like, it came out 10 years ago, 20 years ago, like what doesn't really doesn't seem like there's a huge scale of I don't know, difference.
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of talking about like video game hardware over the years.
Oh, with Nick or
no, on the pod last time, what's his face, the Japanese guy who invented the D-pads.
Oh yeah, like was Yokota, I think. Among other things, I mean, it's just one of the crazy things he invented D-pads among other things,
right?
Including his own games. So,
but like the jump from the D-pad to the, I don't know, like PS5 Dual Sense Edge or whatever controller, it's like kind of just the same thing. Still
just the same lineage. I mean, still has a D-pad. Still, kind of handles the same way.
So we haven't really seen a paradigm shift there yet.
Yeah.
I mean, with VR, it's, I don't know, like not really there. It seems VR still kind of seems like a novelty sandbox type thing. Like it didn't really.
It feels like one of those things where it was kind of like, I don't know, video phone, like going from, like for a long time, it wasn't really like just calling someone on a telephone versus like having some weird video like until you had like easily accessible apps and stuff. It wasn't. I feel like VR is maybe the same way where it's like such a hassle to like put on a headset and like go into these like and some people feel sick and like it's just like it's such a like it just does still feel like a, I don't know, gimmick or something where it's like who. I mean, there's a few weirdos that want to actually sit there and do it, long term. But I mean, most people, they just want to play a game on a screen, and that's like it, right? I mean,
not lose context of their surrounding reality.
Yeah, lose context of their surroundings, and have to buy weird, expensive hardware, and install, like download, and like it's just way too much weird hassle. Like the normal casuals are probably not going to want to fuck with, I guess. I mean, I certainly don't want to. I mean, people, Diehard Dave, like, was trying to, like, he was going up, banging on about his Oculus stuff. And I mean, he was showing me this stuff like, 10 years ago. And I was like, okay, yeah, this is interesting, but I'm definitely not gonna like actually, I don't know, buy this or spend time doing this. I mean, it's kind of, it's amusing, but it's not. I couldn't imagine like fully, I don't know, playing a game that way.
Yeah.
For like hours and hours at a time or something.
And I mean, like to increase the immersion, it seems that the overall, it's just like more hardware, right?
Just
like
more
it's
hardware,
the haptic vest and like, you know, more and more haptics.
Yeah. I mean, it's like very, I guess it's like interesting science fiction territory, but again, at the end of the day, it gets like, do you actually really want to like do this? I guess, and for me, it's kind of like, well, yeah, not really, but I'm sure there's people that would get really into it and would want to do it, but yeah, I think most people it's just too much, I don't know, overhead or too much hassle or something. Yeah.
Would you get the Neuralink if it were safe?
I'm not gonna fuck with that, man. No. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna do that. Well, because it's like, who like what company are you gonna trust to like fuck with your brain? I mean, it's a bit of a. That's like, would you? Well, I mean, like, if I'm not gonna get LASIK, you think I'm gonna get Neuralink, right? And again, like, I don't even think there's anything wrong with LASIK, and like, I don't know, in the future maybe, but even that I would consider a bit of a. There still is like some risk involved.
Sure.
And like, you don't, I mean, again, like most of the time it's probably fine, but you're still kind of taking a risk, I guess. It still is kind of like surgery, right?
Surgery,
right? Yeah. So yeah, I mean, but yeah, nah, man, I'm not gonna fuck with.
Just for context, I got LASIK.
Yeah,
so.
And again, like LASIK is totally fine, and I'm sure you don't have any regrets. But yeah, I mean, even that level is a bit of a stop and think versus like optional brain surgery, neurosurgery. I'm not gonna, I don't have that much longer left in my life comparatively, and not looking
to keep saying that, but I don't know. I don't believe you. I think you got more gas in the tank than you want to admit.
Yeah, but it's still like, I don't know, if I was like being born now, like if you're born in 2025, like who knows, but it's
imagine being born now. Holy crap, people are being born right now. That's pretty wild.
I don't know, man. Is it? I mean, I guess, but it's just another, like, they're just gonna have to do the same stupid catching up on the situation, and I don't know. I mean, I don't even think people being born now are gonna have functional Neuralink. I mean, maybe in another, I don't know, another 2 generations or something, maybe, but
I think it's going to come a lot faster than we think it is. I anticipate that we're going to be able to make some jumps technologically with AI. I think it's going to expedite a lot of things. And I think we're like just on the beginning of the exponential curve on that. I could be wrong, but that's my feeling.
Gotta see how it goes. But there's still a divide, man. I mean, again, like I still feel like, in the sense that like you find like ChatGPT very useful and helpful, and like I see literally no personal need for it. Like nothing I'm interested in doing makes me see a need for it. And again, I'm not saying it isn't helping other things, but I feel it's like a bit of a similar maybe thing with similar technology, where it's like, it's not that it couldn't exist or be helpful, but is everyone gonna be doing it or needing it? Well, maybe not, right?
Yeah.
They kind of have this in. I feel like they kind of have this in science fiction too. Like, there's one, like Bruce Sterling used to write books and stories where like it's very, like, the cyber future is very like unevenly distributed.
In terms of like technology access.
Yeah, so there's like, he has like
people on
different
flip phones next to like
full cyborg. Yeah, right. So he's like, there's people that are like, he has like people that go the like full genetic engineering route.
Right.
And then he has people who go the full, Neuralink cyber mechanical route, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, so they're on the same planet, but they're not like really
the same species.
Not everyone. Well, I mean, yeah, they're arguably not even the same species, but just in a sense that it's not like everyone is doing the exact same kind of stuff, right? You know, there's people that choose to go super biological engineering. There's people that go super, you know, cyber implant tech. And
it would be fun if it were that varied, but realistically, it's going to be Apple comes out with, you know, the ports in the back of your head.
I don't know, man, because but again,
and like, maybe there's one competitor, and then maybe there's a Chinese pop-up brand.
I don't know, though, because I feel like maybe the diversified future actually seems more likely.
Really?
Because I just don't, I don't see things playing out that way. And well, again, like even with ChatGPT, like people using it versus people not using it.
Yeah.
And again, if you're like, I don't know, an engineer or something, or software engineer, then yeah, like most of the people around you, you're probably gonna be like, oh, everyone's using this. But then other people in other fields, like maybe literally no one is using it, right? So.
And in that vein, I read an interesting article from something Sam Altman said in an interview, where basically he said that there is like a generational divide in ChatGPT usage, where people in their 20s and 30s are like using it like an operating system, and using it to consult basically on major life decisions. And then people in their 40s and 50s are more using it as a Google replacement, right?
Yeah, Google replacement or something. Yeah.
But it's funny because that's exactly how I use ChatGPT, right? Like it is an operating system, right? And you know, different macros and do different tasks over and over with it, right?
But there are things that like technologies don't really, well, kind of like we saw with like vinyl, right? Like that seems so weirdly unlikely that like vinyl records would like start selling, I guess.
Come back
and like become.
They kind of did.
Common.
Right?
Yeah.
Like I think there was in the sort of mid 2010s a bit of a
they still are, but
resurgence.
Well, they still are, but it's like based on the 80s and 90s. Like I feel like that's one thing that like no one would have seen.
Oh, that they
really
came back at all.
Yeah. Well, because I mean, like CDs were such a. And now, like, I feel like there's even a CD revival now,
for sure,
which is like so weird because it's just like, what is this? In a lot of ways, it kind of is a crap media because, like, CDs like decay and they don't really like. I don't know. It's just like, I guess they made sense at the time and place, but like in a lot of ways, like vinyl kind of is better. Again, if you're not going to like, I don't know, just stream things or something, like if you're actually going to have any physical media, it's like, okay, CDs really? Like, I guess, but
analog's definitely somehow cooler, I guess.
Yeah, it's cooler, and it just like, it does have that,
like just the pure physics of it.
Kind of better sound in a lot of ways. Like the CDs are so weirdly like compressed and kind of, I don't know, empty or something. It's hard to explain, but
I don't think I own any CDs right now. Yeah, I have 0 CDs.
I don't think I have any in my house either. Yeah, but or you know, people saying that everyone was gonna be just reading on the Kindle, but book sales
didn't really happen.
It didn't. Like book sales are going up, if anything. So there's a lot of things that doesn't. I feel like it is more unevenly. I don't feel like these technologies really necessarily have some one determined path as to how people like use them, I guess.
So is this all in response to it's probably going to be a diversity of Neuralinks, or?
Well, I don't think everyone is, kind of like I was saying with the Bruce Sterling example. Like I think there's probably going to be people that will go in that direction, and then people that won't.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like...
Well, again, like, do you think that, like, the Amish are going to get Neuralinks?
I think they'll be first in line. No, I'm kidding, yeah.
So they're not, right? And, like, do you think, like... I don't know. I mean, there's going to be lots of people that, for various other unrelated reasons, probably won't do that. I mean, it could be religious reasons, could be other random reasons.
Yeah.
So
I don't think I'd get Gen 1, but Gen 2, Gen 3, I'd be more interested in.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like I'm sure it'll lead to interesting things.
Probably ruin your life in some ways, but hey.
Maybe, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say with any of these things in practice what they're actually going to lead to.
There is interesting thing here with LASIK, where LASIK's actually like one of the earlier technologies. I think the first one was or earlier one was PRK.
Okay,
where they actually like basically cut open your flap I think they inserted the lens and then put the flap back down.
Well, don't they? I think they still do that, right? Like there's still people.
PRK is still around, yeah. But then I believe LASIK was kind of second gen, where it's like, okay, we open the flap and then we use another laser to reshape your cornea to basically fix the lens focusing of it, and then put the flap down. And that's what I got. And then there was the next generation, I believe, I'm probably butchering this history, but Smile. SMILE, all caps, where the idea was they used just one laser and they blast a tiny little hole in your top layer, whatever that is, retina. And using that same laser, through that little hole, they sculpt out the lensness of your cornea or whatever. And like on paper, it's like less invasive. I believe you like heal better because you have like a tiny little hole versus I technically will have a slight flap for the rest of my life, right? Because it like heals like 95%, but never 100%. And yeah, kind of riffing off that further, people in combat aren't supposed to have LASIK because of that.
Well, because if you get like punched in the eye, then the flap can.
It can
technically.
Yeah. So you're actually supposed to get PRK, which is the like older tech.
Oh, if you're in like the military or something.
Yeah. But the reason why PRK, so with PRK, they don't open up the flap. They actually use a chemical to remove the top layer entirely. So the recovery is longer on it. It's like a few months before you can like actually see well. And it's pretty uncomfortable in the early stages.
This sounds like a lot of fucking with your eye, man. Yeah, I mean, I like at the end of the day, for me, like contacts are annoying and paying money, but I mean, at the end of the day, they're not that much hassle for me.
It's good.
So it's just like easier to just use daily disposable contact lenses. I mean,
if you can wear contacts and you don't mind them, then it's totally fine. I guess what really pushed me towards LASIK basically was my vision was not terrible. Like if I told people my numbers, they'd be like, "Oh, you don't really need anything." But like it would be enough to for example, like I couldn't really tell if someone was making eye contact with me. Like it was that level of kind of inability to process kind of subtle social signals, I guess.
Differences,
But I couldn't wear contacts because my eyes would dry out in an hour. So it was like brutal. I couldn't do it. So LASIK actually fit the niche quite well, I suppose. I keep saying this, but it's literally like you literally buy freedom, right? There's actually so few other sort of things that you can do like that. Like I got it, and then the next day I could like see a distant mountain range with like perfect clarity, right? Like it's as close as the future has ever felt.
Yeah, it's cool, right? Yeah.
Like I wonder what else is like that, right?
There's I think they have been improving, fixing people's hearing too, right? People that have like hearing loss.
With implants, or
I think so. Yeah, there's some recent ones that are like really undetectable and just like really improving it, which is interesting too. Yeah.
Have you ever gone down this like adding additional senses biohacking?
Oh, like I mean, like magnetic senses and stuff. That stuff's interesting. Again, I'm not gonna like implant something in my hand or something, but I mean, it's interesting in theory to me. But
it's pretty minimally invasive, right?
I wouldn't, yeah. But then I guess you have like a magnetic sense or something. You like kind of tell.
You can like feel where wires are in the wall, right? Which is kind of cool.
It's cool. I mean, it's interesting. I don't know if I would feel the need to do that, I guess. Might be kind of distracting, if anything.
But so we have some senses which we don't seem to utilize in the modern world.
Gravity is one.
I mean, just the feeling.
Instinctive gravity sense. Well, the reason we don't utilize it is because like
we're using it all the time.
Yeah. We're using it. So like when you don't have it, you're like, oh, like what? Which is right. So,
but so like, what is that sense? It's like if you were to like let go of something, you instinctively know like where to grab it to catch it. Or
just having like even little kids can like balance on skateboard. Like you know, like they do have instinctive balancing awareness of like weight and balance.
But you think if we like put them on Mars, it would like
I mean, like if you put people in space, it's like weightlessness is a bit.
I guess I wonder like what if it's like subtly different, right? Like it's not like weightlessness, right? Because obviously that just throws everything off. But what if it's like 1.15 Earth gravity?
Yeah,
like how badly does that compromise?
I'm sure you could probably get used to it. I mean, if you were. But that does, I feel like the Martian thing does get into like how long before this just becomes like a different species almost. Because like, I feel like it probably wouldn't even take that long.
Well, same thing with like Neuralinks stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like if you have one portion of the population that crosses into the cybernetics bridge and then the other doesn't.
But those are, I mean, I think if you're like, I think the difference is if you're like mechanically implanting something versus like having actual generations of people whose, I don't know, gestation is subjected to different conditions, I guess.
Right.
So if you're coming to term and being born over, I don't know, let's say like 1,000 years on Mars or something.
Right.
That's like very direct biological. Whereas just like putting mechanical implants, like you're not really necessarily changing the substrate that much, I guess.
I wonder. I mean, so presumably if you get like a Neuralink, presumably you'll have some neurological changes related to it.
Well, yeah, but
like wiring it up basically, right? But then wiring around it.
Would that have to do with your kids or something? Like, you're not really...
well, then if you like reproduce with someone who has similar circuitry, right?
Then how is that going to affect like your DNA? I guess like you're not.
Well, this is like epigenetics, right? Or is that a scam?
That's such. Well, I mean, like it's real, but it's not going to like magically. I don't know. Like your kids are not going to be born with Neuralink, I guess. So like, it's not really gonna.
But they might like have a brain that's even more like I don't know, susceptible to it. Not susceptible, but like even more primed for it.
I don't know, man. It's a bit like Lamarckism or something.
What's Lamarckism?
Well, it's the idea that like I don't know, if I get good at chess or something, then my kids are gonna be born as like good chess players or something, right?
Do you think it's like that, or do you think it just completely?
No, not really. I mean, like I guess there's epigenetics in the sense that physical changes can, over a very long period of time or fairly long period of time, can, like things like I don't know, holding breath or something, like or other subtle things, but cybernetic implants I don't think are gonna really affect, again, unless they like I don't know, affect your genes or something. But like just putting something in your brain, like I don't think is gonna have any effect on wouldn't have any effect on, again, provided you're reproducing normally without other complications or something.
I guess I don't know where the what's called speciation.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really know where that would
presumably,
happen.
Again, like if you're...
But culturally...
Putting on... I mean, if you're putting people on another planet, then...
Yeah.
Given enough time, you're probably going to...
Become just completely...
See changes in development and, just physiology. Because you're literally putting them in a different physiological... environment, I guess. So
remember that thing in 2010 where people were signing up to go to Mars? Or like...
Yeah, I guess, yeah. I had kind of doubted that was ever going to come to much, but we don't... Well, the problem is that like we don't even know what that would do, man. I mean, people like having kids in like zero gravity or like having kids in altered gravity environments. I mean, we don't really know what that would...
I kind of refuse to believe that they haven't done this experiment. Like... intercourse in space.
I'm sure
pregnancy.
I'm sure they've had intercourse, but
because officially they haven't, right? But like I don't believe that for a second.
No,
right?
I think they're pretty on record about having intercourse.
Really?
I think so. Yeah.
I swear it's the opposite. Let's see.
Really? Okay.
Let me check here. Yeah. What position do you think you would do in space?
Well, the thing is that like in zero gravity, doggy style and reverse cowgirl are the same thing, right? There's no real difference, right? Above the abyss, right? Reverse cowgirl and doggy style are the same thing. Right?
Yeah. Officially, have people had sex in space?
Yeah, I'm sure they have. I mean, but carrying a child to term is a bit of a different matter.
Can't work in zero gravity, right? I feel like that just something about that does not sit right with my mental conception.
Well, even again, Mars or something, we don't really know what would actually happen.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, who knows? I mean, biologically, if you just keep trying it enough, maybe something's going to get through, and then keep reproducing.
Mm-hmm.
I suspect that you probably have a lot of miscarriages. You'd have a lot of stillborn kids. Yeah. You'd have a lot of dead babies on your hand. But if you're like maniacally, like, I mean, life is pretty adaptive. So,
yeah.
I mean,
probably activates some.
You might have, yeah. So you might
zero gravity childbirth gene or something.
But you might end up with, I don't know, some weird new quasi species or something.
Yeah.
And it might have other effects that we don't really. Like they might just all be, I don't know, hella retarded, or I don't know, some other weird effect that
you're using it in the medical sense.
I'm using it in the medical, like
the hella kind of threw it off, but
no, but I'm using it in the literal medical sense of not being. Well, I just have like no one knows, right?
Right.
So I mean, I'm sure we'll eventually find out. Like I'm sure there will eventually be people that are motivated to try that. But I do suspect they're going to be dropping a lot of dead kids that, you know, for science, that there's going to be a lot of malformed fetuses dropping out. And
getting vacuum, what's that? Like the vacuum expulsion system where they shoot it out into space.
Or just into, you know, Martian desert or whatever.
It's a pretty grim future for
I guess. I mean, but
image of the
there's
future.
always, life is pretty adaptive, and
a Martian landscape littered with miscarried fetuses.
Yeah. Well, what else would you start having? I mean, it's not.
Now there's a prompt for ChatGPT to draw an image.
Altered gravity environment. So.
Yeah. But just going back here, NASA and other space agencies deny it. NASA has consistently stated that no sex has occurred in space and that no experiments involving human sexual activity have been conducted aboard missions like those on the space shuttle.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I definitely don't believe that. But I'd be surprised if they've actually tried to like bring children to term or something in outer space. I mean.
It feels like the Soviets definitely would have tried this. This is right up the Soviet experiment alley, right?
I'm sure they did some stuff, but I don't know if they'd if much would have come of it. But they definitely, if anyone had done it, they probably would have had the first crack at it.
Key scientific unknowns: how fluid dynamics in microgravity would affect intercourse.
Yeah, I'm sure it doesn't.
Fluid dynamics.
Sure, it doesn't work terribly. Like,
does the vagina lubricate in zero gravity?
I'm sure. Like, I doubt it would work terribly differently. But once it comes to like actually carrying a child to term over 9 months, that's a pretty long process.
Yeah,
right? There's a lot that can go wrong. Over, like even on Earth, I mean, it doesn't exactly function perfectly on Earth either.
It's pretty rough on Earth.
So, yeah, throwing gravity distortions into it, I mean, I don't really know what would happen. Although I'm sure we will eventually. I don't think it's gonna be held back forever. But yeah, I have to wait and find out maybe.
What if that's the true purpose of the foreskin, is to provide friction reduction and zero gravity?
Well, it does that here and now.
Well,
too,
there you go.
So yeah.
So circumcision is part of a ritual of preventing people from reproducing in space.
In space, yeah. Trying to limit intergalactic potential. Circumcision is so wacky, man. I don't know how anyone can really defend it.
Yeah,
it's such a wacky idea. I mean, okay, is like some magical mutilation ritual, like, okay, but
it is like it's just straight up, I don't know, fucked up barbaric ritual on newborns, right?
Yeah, but like, it's so like, I feel like there's no way to convince people. Like, this is a crazy thing that you can't really like convince people of this, that you're like doing the equivalent of like cutting off a baby's ear. It's like, to
like, appease the sun god or something.
Well,
right?
Like, you wouldn't like whatever, god or whatever. It's like, do you want to, like, is cutting off babies' ears on the table? Because like, that's literally what you're doing, right?
Right.
Like,
well, what if it's like just the tip, right?
Well, yeah, like, but even if you literally cut off their ear, they can still technically hear.
Right.
But are you gonna then, like, are we putting that on the table? Like, is cutting off or their nose, right? Like, you could, like, they're not going to die if you cut off their nose.
Yeah. I mean,
they're still going to be able to breathe.
Yeah.
So is cutting babies' noses off on the table? Because, like, that's literally, like, I have no idea how to else to explain that this is, like, not a good idea.
Yeah. It's crazy that it's like still happening.
No one believes it.
I think there is a cultural shift now, though. I think less and less people are getting circumcised.
But it's still very,
less and less people are circumcising their newborns, I should say. Getting circumcised.
I've tried to like explain, like, I've known people that had kids and were on the fence and then did it.
Yeah.
And like, I couldn't explain to them that it's like an organ that has like a function. Like, and again, like, other than like comparing it to like an ear, like, I have no other idea of explaining other way of conveying that other than like literally taking out my penis and being like, look, I can do this. Like, it's an organ that does stuff. Right? I don't know what to say.
Maybe that would have convinced him.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, this was over text. Like, he wasn't even in the country at the time, but I was like, look, you can like actually do things with this organ. It's not just like an extraneous organ or something.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I don't know, but yeah.
Yeah, it's funny that they like. What do you think do you think it was just to prevent masturbation? Was that the initial reason for it?
I think they had wacky. Yeah, I mean, well, like, they had wacky ideas about what led to masturbation in the 19th century. Like,
why stop there? Just cut off the glands, right? You can still impregnate, right?
Cut off something, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, well, that's why they came up with cornflakes. Like, they thought that like, non-bland food would lead to more masturbation or something. Which, I don't know, maybe it does, but I certainly don't think feeding people cornflakes is going to stop them masturbating. Even though that was the motivation behind cornflakes, was that it's like not a stimulating breakfast, so you're gonna have less.
It's refined carbohydrates. I beg to differ. It's very stimulating.
Yeah,
man. So I had one of those tiramisu almonds I brought back from Malaysia. Yeah. I damn near orgasmed from eating it.
I'm kind of jealous of you, man, because I ate like 6 of them. And I was just like, yeah, whatever. Like,
I had an ecstatic experience where
how are you this into carbohydrates, man? Like, I feel like
so it's like it's dopamine detox, basically, right?
But like nothing. Like, I could eat like 10 of those
Well,
and then like nothing would make me think, oh, like I need more almond. Like no, I wouldn't have.
But you had like 6 of them, right?
Well, because they were there.
Okay.
But then I didn't think like, oh, I should get more. Like nothing would like the next day. I wasn't like, oh, I wish I had some of those almonds.
But the reason why is because you're, how do I say it? Like you haven't withdrawn from the stimuli, right?
It's also like that does sound amazing. Like I wish sugary carbs were that exciting, but I'm not convinced they.
But
I'm not convinced they are.
The reason they're not is because you're like already primed for that stimuli, right? So like there's like a dopamine detox type thing that has to happen.
Even if I would say like over time, my interest in that kind of stuff is decreased, if anything. In terms of like, if I don't eat anything sweet for like, I don't know, 2 weeks or something, I don't feel like when I finally do, it's like better or something. Like, I don't feel like there's some.
Well, so I think that the key thing is probably the insulin response, right?
It could be.
So like if you're having any carbohydrates basically, and if your insulin system is like responding, right?
I mean, it sounds amazing that it was like that enjoyable to like just have an almond or something.
Yeah.
Like
well, you know, it's chocolate coated and whatnot. Had some mascarpone cheese powder or whatever. Yeah. Anyway, pretty decadent overall, I think. But
I feel like you're just maybe like unusually sensitive to this kind of stuff or something. Because I mean, like,
well, I'm sensitive to it because I withdrew from it, I guess, right? Yeah. Because like if I think you'd probably have a pretty similar experience if you do the same thing with your system.
I don't know, man, because again, even the times when I fasted, like, it's definitely not something that was on my mind, I guess. Like, oh, like eating a cake. Like, I wasn't thinking about like, I don't know, eating a cake or something. I was just like, oh, any food. Like, okay, yeah. I didn't really feel like even eating at all, I guess. And certainly not like having like, I don't know, a chocolate bar or something didn't seem appealing to me in that fasting headspace. So it didn't seem like it was, well, because if it had, I would have just done it, right? Like if I was like, oh, I feel like eating sugar, like I probably would have just done that,
right?
But like I didn't. So I don't know, man. I think you're just more, I don't know, maybe genetically into like desserts or carbs or something. Like
maybe I don't know.
I haven't like these sensations that you've described before too. Like even again in my own like I haven't super fasted, but like I have sort of fasted, and like I just haven't gotten these like big differences in like, I don't know, either mental clarity or subjective like desire or enjoyment. So I don't know.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I definitely didn't think that I was like becoming more mentally clear or something. But I also didn't feel like I was like either like when I eventually did, I don't know, like eat like a chocolate bar or something, I wasn't like, wow, this is crazy. Like I definitely didn't have that like reaction. I was just like, okay, yeah, it's a chocolate bar.
Interesting.
I guess. So,
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I wonder what it is. I mean, for like the mental clarity aspect, I'm pretty convinced that it comes down to electrolytes.
Yeah,
because I had a discussion with colleagues where it was kind of the same, where like they were like, "Oh, I tried fasting, but I just felt like really sluggish and just
I felt
like I was sick."
I didn't feel sluggish, but like I also when I didn't feel like I was getting more mentally clear. I didn't feel like I was less clear.
Right.
But I also didn't particularly feel like, oh, now I can concentrate. Like I didn't have that same
I don't feel like I concentrate more, but I feel like I'm like more like blank minded, basically.
Yeah.
Where I feel like I'm in this suspended state of like existence.
Okay, yeah.
Without any like real stimulation, right?
I just felt pretty normal, man. I mean, I wasn't really like, I was still just paying attention to things and working. Like I didn't,
interesting.
By the end of by the end of 3 days, I was just physically losing like strength, I guess.
Yeah. So there's a bit of that.
I wasn't, so that was why I finally ate. Cause I was just like, oh, I'm walking around. I feel kind of wobbly and probably should start eating now, right? And
yeah, glycogen depleted at that point.
But I didn't feel like there was too much mental change either, I guess, throughout it. But yeah, it was I mean, it was good. I mean, I'd maybe do it again, but just to, I don't know, save cash or save time or something.
Practical approach,
but
fasting.
I don't know if I would look at it super from I don't know, going on some detox or something. Like I don't know if I would really look at it that way. Or
in hindsight, I think that's been kind of the vein of a lot of changes I've made lifestyle wise. I think it's like dopamine detox essentially.
I just really don't buy this for some reason. Like, I mean, I'm not saying there aren't because again, like kind of I was saying with the whole Instagram thing, like I just feel like naturally exposure to, well, it's kind of like, I don't know, porn or something. Like if you gave me like tons of porn and like unlimited free time, like I definitely wouldn't just be watching porn. Like I would probably reach a natural satiation, and then I would just be like, oh, I'm gonna like make something or do like I don't feel like I would like go into this like, I don't know, really dopamine headspace or something. It's not really my experience. But I mean, I'm not saying it can't happen. But I don't know if motivation comes down to, at least for me, like I don't really feel like my interests or motivations really work that way or something. But I mean, maybe they do. I don't know. But could be.
Yeah, I mean, it could be individual differences. It could be I'm particularly obsessive and like
I'm pretty obsessive too.
Yeah, you are as well. So I don't know.
I feel like it's just more. I feel like the main problem for me is not really. It's more like transitions. Like I can spend a huge amount of time just working on one thing, but then if it's like, oh, now it's time to do this different thing, it's like, oh, I gotta make that fucking transition. Like I don't want to
like the context switch.
Context switches are annoying.
Yeah, they're very annoying.
But that's
very demanding.
But that's the only. But like once I do that, it's just like once again humming along and just working or whatever.
So what if you had the Neuralink where you could save the context and just all tab seamlessly between
tab context?
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, it could work that way. I mean, I feel like I'm not terribly bad at doing it now anyway. Right. And I'd rather probably just rely on naturally trying to do it.
What if you could have two contexts pulled up at the same time? Yeah.
That's interesting. I mean, like, yeah, if you can... But I sort of still feel like we can kind of do that now. Like, I feel like we can think about more than one thing at the same time.
Yeah, it's. I feel like it's this ongoing debate over. But I mean, again, as someone with an internal monologue, I definitely have an argument going on in my head, music playing, and like thinking about something completely unrelated.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that is, but yeah. Just on the dopamine detox thing, I think like I wonder again if this is a generational thing, because I feel like my generation just got home run, grand slammed, like high speed internet access, at very formative years.
Yes, man. But I had
like high quality porn, like at your fingertips.
It's still
high quality porn, kind of visually high quality.
Okay, yeah, I guess, man. But
fidelity.
You're still getting.
Like I feel like that just kind of wrecked my
system. Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe I'm just particularly obsessive.
I believe you, but I mean, it. I feel like it's probably just individual difference too.
Probably,
it was kind of like, why are some people alcoholics and some aren't?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good question. I mean, I don't really. I'm definitely on the skeptical side of like it's a disease. Like when people are like, oh, alcoholism is a disease, and I'm like, well, okay.
So what's that mean? Like it's genetic or
So there's I think this is what AA believes, right? So they're like some people are alcoholics,
right?
They're always gonna be alcoholics, and like it's like some, I don't know, disease or thing that you can't really, for whatever reason, and. I don't know. I mean, I would hesitate to, like, is being a junkie a disease? Like,
How are you defining junkie?
Well, someone
just
that does a lot of heroin or something.
Okay. Like a poly drug addict, basically, or
I don't know. Yeah, or just someone that's like a heroin addict. Like, is that a disease? Well, it's a habit. I mean, I don't know if I would call it a disease, but it. So I don't know. I mean, I guess AA works for some people, doesn't work for other people. So I don't know. I mean, if it helps you, then great. But I don't really like. I feel like alcoholism is interesting to think about. Like, what is it? I mean, is it just impulse control? Is it a genetic tendency? You know, is it? What is it? But yeah,
I'm sure there's some genetic backing that makes your, reward system particularly susceptible to this molecule. And then there's the behavioral aspect where, you watched your parents numb themselves after work with it. And, that imprints on you, and you kind of like associate that with something. But I mean, is it actually alcohol, or are you just as susceptible to be controlled by some other molecule because you let it control you, if that makes sense? Like, I guess I kind of siding with you, I guess. I don't believe that individuals are somehow uniquely vulnerable to some sort of stimuli, because you always actually willingly give control to that stimuli.
Well, yeah, and I think that's kind of the argument against it,
right?
Is like it's like a weird way of, I don't know, removing agency, I guess.
Or yes, that's it.
Sort of like, well, and again, like I get where they're coming from, and they're trying to be like, okay, like just don't ever even allow yourself to be in any situation where you have a possibility of, having a drink or something. But again, like my take is still like, if I had a bunch of, I don't know, alcohol and cigarettes and nicotine in the room now, I would still probably just like, like I got work tomorrow. Like I'm not going to sit there drinking and smoking and I mean, so like just physically having like that seems like a weird, giving it crazy power. Like,
well, you're putting it on a pedestal.
Yeah, you're putting it on this like you're making it out to be this like magical pedestal kind of thing where, and I don't know, like if I had a box of donuts in my room, like would I eat it? Well, probably, but like I'm also not like, like every time I walk past, I don't know, a donut store, I'm not like, oh my god, like I could get the donuts. Like,
but are you like, ooh, donuts?
Well, I'm like, yeah, but
it registers. It registers,
right? But it doesn't turn into like some crazy, I don't know, mental struggle or something.
Sure, yeah.
Where it's like that. That seems like a crazy level of giving something power that probably intrinsically it doesn't like have, I guess.
Right.
So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't have a single take, I guess. I mean, I do feel like AA is this like weird religious kind of, I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't work, but it does seem quite strange to me. And
it does have its roots in Christianity, right?
Yeah, and it does seem, a lot of the stuff about it seems quite strange, and
I do quite like the like, what is it, the creed or the slogan, what God give me strength to accept the things that I cannot change.
Well, but that's just like a
courage to change what I can.
That's like something I forget which saint.
It's not from AA.
No, that's that's from
but it's from Christianity, right?
Well, I think it's something a saint. I'm trying to remember which saint said that. I think it was, let me just Google this here.
But yeah, I mean, I do like that saying, I guess. Like, I think it is a good conception of the world.
Yeah, it's a good way. It's a good way to think about it. But
there's an incantation of sorts, right?
Yeah. Reinhold Niebuhr. Okay, I might be misattributing this, but where is it?
For some reason I do think it's AA specific, but maybe I'm wrong.
Serenity Prayer.
Yes, that's it. Serenity Prayer.
Protestant theologian Reinhold Niebuhr. Okay, so I'm misattributing it there.
But still, I guess,
Protestant theologian. Yeah.
Yeah, invocation by the petitioner for wisdom.
Yeah.
So God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine, but I feel like AA is just like weird. We know that they're like, they like, it does seem like, from what I've heard, like it does seem like they kind of just replaced, like everyone at AA is like smoking and eating cookies.
Right.
So it's like, instead of drinking alcohol, we're going to smoke cigarettes and eat cookies. And then, I don't know, have a group meeting about something.
But I guess it's less socially destructive,
I guess,
right?
Yeah, I mean,
because like, I guess you're not like DVing your partner or I don't know,
like
crashing your car.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's the lesser of, whatever.
Yeah.
But it does seem like that still seems kind of silly to me, where I'm like, oh, okay, but couldn't like replacing it with some other random addiction or stimulus or something seems a little bit silly too.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, everyone at the end of the day, everyone's, life is their own. They got to work out what how they're gonna function or not. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just going back to the dopamine detox, I've definitely I felt like several of these things were kind of intertwined in a weird way.
Okay, yeah.
And as you start to disassemble the sort of pathways of whatever that is, right?
Yeah.
Like, you do arrive at a place that is stable.
Okay,
right?
Yeah.
So like, I walk into a kombini and I'll like register the nicotine or cigarettes or whatever.
Yeah.
It's not like a crazy, like, sweating temptation.
Yeah.
I mean, the last time I really felt tempted was when we were out with Rumi and the bartender just handed, it was with Jeffrey, right?
Oh, yeah.
But bartender just like handed her a handful of tobacco.
Yeah, you're like, tobacco,
right?
Yeah.
Like all sorts, Lucky Strikes and ICOS and just like everything, right? That was pretty tempting.
I think there's an age-related thing too, man. Is like, again, I think I said before, like when you're in your 20s or something, yeah, tobacco is fun, but when you get like, when the negative effects start physically outweighing any possible interest or benefit, it's just like your body can kind of tell, and it's just like yeah, nah, like come on, like what, you're not,
and you just have to listen to that, right?
Yeah, you just, at the end of the day, that's all it is. And like,
but I feel like people don't is the issue, right?
A lot of them don't.
They wake up over and over with the worst hangover ever, and just go straight back to the bottle.
A lot of them just go straight back into it. Yeah, unfortunately, but
you need that little moment of mindfulness to realize that you do have agency over the situation.
Well, if you just think about that
you're making a choice,
you're making a choice, and most of the time the outcome is not going to be worth whatever you would get from it.
Yeah, that's been probably my most useful tool, is just like feel the impulse and then fast forward on the stimuli.
My initial impulse is still that you just hadn't, like, my impulse would be to like force you to watch porn while eating donuts and smoking cigarettes and drinking alcohol.
That just sounds terrible.
Well, I know, but it's just like, I feel like if you haven't seen full pushing it is further than it would even normally go. Like, what would it look like or something, right? Like,
not good. I don't know. I mean, the funny thing is it's not like, this isn't, it's funny because you're trying to say that the sum of the individual stimuli would like be greater in magnitude in temptation or in pleasure or something, right? But
maybe
but like it doesn't, like, if you stack those things together,
I feel like stacking them would result in
not really, I guess,
much more. But
this is another lingo thing, the dopamine stacking. Have you heard about this?
No.
Well, it's like when people are like smoking and on their phone, or like eating and watching something. You need to like stack the pleasures to like, fully tunnel vision. You have the have you seen like the,
are people trying to do this, or are they trying, like, what's the
well, so people are doing it basically, right?
What are they doing?
Well, do you know like gooning? Have you heard of gooning?
It's just like jerking off, right?
Yeah, but like it's also like having 6 different videos pulled up, like, you know, multi-monitor investor setup, but, you know, you're not trading stocks, you're watching like 10 different, and they're like fast cut compilations, right?
This still doesn't
so it's
seem
like maximum stimulation, right?
I'm not really sure that's how stimulation works. So I mean, like, I like, doesn't necessarily seem like that would be taking it to more. The thing is that like sexual interest is like tunnel vision. It's not really like wide vision, I guess. So like simply there's a sense in which like more options doesn't actually result in more erotic focus, I guess. So like if you have like, I think it like in a lot of ways it actually results in like breaking the trance, I guess. So like
more stimulation breaks the trance.
Well, yeah. So if you just have like, that's why like,
well, so that's what you're advocating, basically, like maximize the stimulus.
Well,
I know, but I feel like you're like doing the equivalent of you like cigarettes so much, so here, smoke the whole carton.
Well, but I think there is something to be said for that, and like you could like,
well, you make yourself sick.
Well, right? Yeah, but you could maybe, I don't know, see where that leads or something.
Well, so like, I feel like that's kind of what I'm saying, right? Like fast forward on the stimulus, right? Like you know, like the first puff of the cigarette feels okay, and then you still have to smoke the rest of it, and you don't get anything out of it, right? It's just complete mirage, right? So yeah, like literally just realize that you're craving this imaginary first puff of whatever it is. And then after that, you're still holding a bag of, you know, highly refined carbohydrates fried in seed oil, right? Or whatever.
I forget where we're going with this, but
I think we're trying to end the episode.
I forget where I was trying to even go with this, but that is an interesting point, though. Like, I definitely don't think that just like playing tons of porn at once would like lead to more stimulation. That's like for me, that's like a weird way to think about it, I guess.
So like it seems to be that there's like a hypnotic element to it where it's like, you know, you lose track of time. You literally like spend like 6 hours edging.
But you could do that with like a normal photo of someone's shoulder. Like, I don't think it's necessarily, I suspect this is just like I suspect this has everything to do with people's inherent hormonal profiles at the time, and actually next to nothing with the quality of the like material. Because like let's say you take like a, I don't know, 60-year-old man and you like, I don't know, put him in some VR multi-screen porn mansion. Like, I honestly don't think he's going to be more excited than if he was just like, I don't know, looking at a normal photo of a girl or something. So I think that like, I suspect what's happening is that like people just happen to be young and like have access to technology. So they're convincing themselves that they're like gooning or whatever when they just actually have like the normal hormonal profile of like, I don't know, a 25-year-old. Because like,
you think like kids were doing this with Playboys like 40 years ago.
They're doing this with normal photos, man. Like, so I mean, I definitely remember jerking off like 5 times in a day to like a normal photo of a girl.
Right.
So like, it wasn't even like necessarily an erotic photo. And like, I don't think that having random, I don't know, like 20 screens or something would have either impacted that terribly or...
I think it's still like hyper palatable media, right?
Sure.
So like it's like
I still suspect it's just,
it's like you're skipping the beer and you're going straight to like Everclear or something, and you're you know, partying as a high schooler on Everclear, right? And then how are you ever going to enjoy like you know, a wine or something?
I guess,
right?
I mean, I think there's maybe an element of that, but I do suspect a lot of it is just having a youthful hormonal profile. And yeah, can you get too tied to, I don't know, fantasy images or something? Well, sure, but it still seems like just having more screens or something. To me, that seems like a strange way to conceptualize like getting more interested in something.
It's kind of an American conception of,
yeah. You know, well, Americans always come with weird ideas that don't really maybe actually translate to reality that much. I would say, or maybe not in the way they think, I guess. But yeah.
Well then,
probably leave it there.
Or leave it there. Gotta leave it somewhere.
Keep gooning. Encourage everyone to keep smoking cigarettes and, I don't know, watching porn or something.
And eating processed food.
Eating carbohydrates. Yeah.
Yeah. Have a good week. Thanks for listening. Peace.